Fantastic. Very much lady of the moment. I noticed in the paper today you were at the Q Awards yesterday presenting Tom with his Merit Award.
Tom. He's very handsome.
Is he handsome? Did you find him?
He is handsome. And he said to me that the young guys today, they don't know how to treat ladies. He would give a woman breakfast in bed.
Uh-huh. You got onto the subject on stage, did you?
No, on the side of stage.
Anyway, of course, it's Tom Jones we were talking about. But it's lovely that you've joined us. I was saying in the introduction that you have made Cornwall your home, despite the fact you were born in America. Now, how did that come about?
Love.
Love. Man, you mean?
A Brit, yes. And he wouldn't, he didn't want to live in America. So he said, I want to know what you're like when you're 80, pottering down to the garden. But I don't want a green card. I mean, that was a lot to take in, you know, in one sentence. So
Absolutely.
I said, okay, I marry him and I don't go back and have son for a while, but that's okay.
Okay. So both of you were actually living in London at the time when you met?
He was south of the river, I was north of the river, and neither of us would compromise. So he said, let's do something else. And we have a little cottage there, and the Cornish have taken us in. I mean,
lovely.
They're wonderful.
Yeah, you usually have to be here, or there, should I say, quite some time before they accept you as one of their own. So you're near Bude, are you?
Very close. I mean, the thing is, they know that I'm a guest there. And as long as we keep it that way, then they treat me like I'm family.
So that really is home, and that's where you have your studio?
That's where we have our workshop, and it's very hard for the record company to get there.
It takes them quite a number of hours.
Oh, yeah.
But do you like that lifestyle? I mean, have you attuned to that well?
I think because I've lived in the city for so long, LA than London, which are so different as cities, but, you know, you get your taste, that I was ready for walks in the moonlight and cows waking you up at 4 a.m.
And of course, you have a lovely little girl now, too.
Yes.
So how old is she?
She's just 2.
Excellent.
And we're taking her to the States tomorrow. She starts the tour with us.
So she's going to go on tour the whole time?
150 cities, yes, with
Good
a 2-year-old.
So you go complete with nanny and, of course, entourage to look after your little girl?
Yeah, I mean, there's an entourage, but she's looking after them, I think. So
what,
she
2 going on 50?
I think so, because she knows that we're working in America, and she says, Tosh work too, Mummy. I said, okay, and she said, money, Mommy.
There's a well-indoctrinated child.
Yes.
I'd like to talk about your own childhood a bit, because this seems a fascinating mix, you know, this Cherokee element. And I gather it's your grandfather that wove all these wonderful tales.
Yes, he was brought up by his grandmother, who escaped the Trail of Tears, which is the Indian Cherokee tragedy, I guess, where they had to flee from the soldiers and walk to Oklahoma, which is a couple thousand miles. She hid in the mountains as a 16-year-old young woman and survived it. And she brought him up and told him all the stories and the mythologies and the potions, things that she would make to make him better, and he would tell me.
Were you fascinated as a child?
Glued to his side.
And when you heard about, you know, these strong women in your family, because your grandfather told you about, would have been his grandmother?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, has that influenced your own writing a lot, you know, when you come to write some of your slightly, not controversial material, but topical material and material of issue?
Well, the Cherokee it's a matriarchal society, so I think because of that, you know, women were always empowered, and you were expected at the round table to have your 2 cents, and your views were considered. And so I was brought up with that. So women, it wasn't like you know your place.
No.
I mean, my mother would say, I have a tomahawk right here. And my mother, you know, as a minister's wife, she would look, Jackie O, that would be her look at church, you know, with her little hat and all that. But she always had they call them steel magnolias, these Southern women, and there's a reason.
Yes, and looking at the album, the way you have woven some of the Cherokee stories into that, or the basis of it, but coupled with the fact that you were in New York on September the 11th last year. So what impact did that have on some of the material?
I think walking down Fifth Avenue that day and smelling New York burning, the idea that a friend or your mother was wounded, And yes, there was the mass murder. Also, the city was, she became flesh and blood that day. I think the French have always seen France as a creature, and America hasn't necessarily seen their country as a mother, but the Native Americans always have. So that day, I think she became flesh and blood for a lot of people.
So I suppose as a writer, you couldn't help, you know, writing that and expressing that within your material.
As a writer, to be out on the road, we toured subsequently after that, to be out on the road when the masks were down, when people were, I don't know, I've never been exposed to something like this where people were talking about how they felt in a way that I've never seen.
And in this case, it's the brand new single off the album. It's called A Sort of Fairy Tale. So what was the catalyst for that?
My character, Scarlet, this is a sonic novel of a woman crossing the country. She thinks she meets her soulmate. Maybe she does, but they don't stay together. And she's heartbroken, but they had a magical time for a while.
Well, you know what? We want to hear it. Tori Amos, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.